real hair and just real stuff. Like, hair really is a business. People don't treat it like that no more.
Yeah,
So,
I think that a lot of people do. It's just that now we are in our space where we define what business is.
Exactly,
It used to be you had to fit into this little box of how a salon should look and how beauty should look. But when you look at it culturally, beauty has never really been like that. But once it became this really big global money making thing, then
Yeah,
it just
we're
we
gonna
have
do
our own show.
No, this is good. I love the dialogue. It's absolutely beautiful and dope. And
Oh, do I put these things on?
If you put these
I
on.
gotta take this gum out.
We
Phone's
put these
on
on,
silent.
Yeah.
This on already? Or y'all tell me?
Huh? I'm sorry.
We don't need these on, or we do?
You don't have to, no.
Oh.
It's up to you.
Do it sound different when it's not on or something?
No. You just don't hear yourself talking in your ear. You can still hear us. 95.9 FM. I am your host, T.C. Lewis, and directly across from my eye area is the Mrs. Asia Jones. How are you? What are you doing here?
I'm
shocked that you're here.
You know what?
2 days in a row?
You know what?
You really are all caught up on that.
I'm caught up on the assignments and the paperwork. But what are you doing here with your lovely curls?
I'm here doing everything.
Speaking of curls, no, you look
Speaking
awesome.
of curls,
I love you.
Yeah, I love you as well. But yes, speaking of curls, we have a wonderful
curly, kinky, straight,
whatever. We have a beautiful show.
We have a beautiful
here
show
for our listening audience. Today we are talking hair and self-esteem and education and our community.
Inspiration and culture.
Right.
Wow.
All of those things.
All those things that really starts with Black woman.
With the Black woman. And we have two gorgeous
Beautiful,
and dynamic,
talented
Black women here with us in the studio.
And we're not, excuse me, I'm sorry, wait. We're not talking about me and TC. I kind of heard someone say,
right.
We're talking about this. Yes, that is true, but we have two more in the studio with us.
Absolutely. So please, studio audience and listening audience, welcome to the show today. LaDosha Wright, a cosmetologist, an author, a speaker, a natural hair educator, a philanthropist, so many, a master colorist, so many layers to her life and work.
World
Please
traveler.
welcome her to our voices today.
Come on here. Yes, thank you so
Roger.
much.
Yes, there you go.
Fake audience. Woo!
Yes, they all in here.
And alongside her, we have from one of our very distinguished retailers of the Box Spot, located at East 81st Street and Kinsman Road.
One of the official retailers.
Yes, the Kids Style Lounge, Miss Rashana Bates.
Yay!
Good morning.
Good morning. All right.
Yeah, that was someone was coughing while they was clapping.
Yeah.
Get that
Roger,
together.
please get a handle on your people.
Take care of that.
Close the door, please.
Please, thank you.
No, and no. Yes. Okay.
All right.
So, so we are going to have a wonderful conversation with these two ladies, these wonderful entrepreneurs and hair educators, in just a second. But of course, we will begin our voices today. Our voices today, hot topics.
Ooh, it's getting pretty intense in here.
It's getting hot in here.
Right. So serious. We're just waiting. Doom, doom. Yes. So, today, back in March, to be exact, March 22nd of this year, there was a police chase here in Clayton. She's going to be sentenced because she was, the reason of her police chase and all the things, she was late for work.
Oh,
right.
okay.
So an East Cleveland woman who was accused of leading several law enforcement agencies on a dangerous high-speed chase back in March.
Okay.
Is being sentenced today. And her name is
Imani
Edwards. She's 23 years old. So she told police she didn't stop when they attempted to pull her over because she was, quote, on her way to work. So Edwards has pleaded guilty to failure to comply with the order or signal of a police officer and has been charged with a 3rd-degree felony and felonious assault on a peace officer, which is a 1st-degree felony. So she says she was speeding because she was on her way to work, late for work, and as a result, she's got 3 felonies.
Wow.
3 felonies. Let's see. Oh, in her attempt to elude police, Edwards struck several law enforcement vehicles, and it's as reported by Channel 19 News. The police originally were trying to stop her or pull her over for having tinted
illegal tints.
windows.
Oh.
So that leads us to wonder: was she really late for work, or I think this sounds like she was running from the police.
I mean, I guess my thing is, like, as we're talking about mental health and trauma and all of those things, and so she had to be, if her real reason was for causing that chase was because she was late for work and she didn't want to lose her job or whatever, she must have gone through a lot of stuff to keep a job.
Well, but if the police are chasing you, I mean, getting to work versus being chased by the police, I think I would stop. I would stop. Me personally, I would stop.
Maybe
even if I was late to work.
Because now she's lost her job for sure. Because she got arrested
and she'll be hard pressed to get another job with 3 felonies.
Just don't be late for work.
You get up early.
And get up early and just stop when you hear the whoop whoop.
I think the issue probably was, in addition to that the police was behind her. She was afraid.
She was nervous, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's another factor, yeah.
Yeah, she was afraid, and the flight. The flight, fight or flight kicked in, and she probably, more than likely, she panicked, and that was the reality that she was running late for work. But I think that when she saw the lights behind her, she very obviously panicked and was just afraid.
And that's another thing for you to bring up. She was probably afraid, like, I might die today. I might as well just go ahead and pull up to the job. So they can see I did come.
And that's right.
It might be my last day pulling up. So it's definitely a situation that we can not just look at the surface, kind of unpack all of the possibilities of what was going through. Like the fighter, right, peel back, onions. And like the fight or flight. And hey, so
I don't know.
Yeah, coping mechanisms are really needed, for all people.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we don't know. I know when I used to be an outreach worker, that was one of the things that I always worked on with all of the families that I worked with.
Yeah.
Was have something in mind with how you want to cope, just in case. When something comes up, you'll have that frame of reference, to fall back on to help you get through that moment.
Yeah.
And so coping mechanisms are key, when you're quote unquote in the struggle,
right.
That's very real for all of us.
Exactly.
So we all can wake up late, and 10 minutes can mean a lot when you're behind schedule. And just, looking for your clothes because you didn't plan like you were supposed to. Your mom teaches you early in life to prepare the night before, and you get grown, and you're like, I'll do it when I get ready. I'm grown, So now you're older and you're kind of off kilter because you don't have that supervision of your parents to help you get through that.
Yeah.
And so here she is, an adult with. Now she's coping, and she's not able to cope with, okay, I'm running late. She doesn't know why she's being pulled over, I'm sure. Whoever sold her those tinted windows.
It didn't say that she had any illegal substance in the car or anything like that.
Right. Or any prior conviction.
So she's probably fight or flight. They might try to kill me. I might, whatever. So, but thankfully no one was hurt physically. And I just, pray for her.
She hit
She hit a car, but I don't think car's gonna be cool though.
Yeah.
You can get another car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They
selling cars all day. Yeah,
Okay.
another car.
You know, so my uncle sells cars all day.
Yeah.
He doesn't, but he probably do. I don't know. Shout out, hey uncle. But so moving right along with our hot topics. First to Imani Edwards and her family and everything that's going on. It's just pray that healing comes about, and
It will.
Yeah.
It always does.
So moving right along.
Right. So update news. The latest news regarding Cuyahoga County Jail.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Now, luckily, there haven't been any more deaths reported recently, but deliveries being made by drones. So it was it was reported. We're all laughing. Yeah, it was reported that in the Cuyahoga County Jail, the Euclid facility, was visited by a drone.
Yeah, and they flew up.
And delivered. Some say contraband, definitely a cell phone for sure. Some say the other
candies.
Substance was tobacco.
Candies.
That's
a good word
That's
for
candy.
it.
Yeah, candies.
Okay.
Contraband candies.
Sure. You're in the know on this.
I'm in the law, so
Yeah.
I want to be on that other side. I have
Yeah.
no idea
So
of what
creative.
candies
Yeah,
are.
there were some illegal candies.
Illegal candies.
Oh, boy.
Okay. And so a cell phone. One news outlet says it was, in addition to the cell phone, there was tobacco. Another one reports it was marijuana. Whatever it was illegal. You're not supposed to have
Right.
it. And who came up with this idea?
They're smart. I'm not even gonna lie, because who's gonna chase, like the young lady she was chased by the police in a car? Who's gonna chase that drone? They would think they're.
But how did they?
The drone has to
how did they
land,
think they were
so
not
that's-
going to get away.
Yeah,
with
the
it?
drone
Makes
has
no
to
sense.
land.
So well,
that's-
the drone has to land, but I think they must have had some type of handle. Like I'm gonna just drop it in there, and it's just
Drop it in.
Like drop whatever was hanging from
That
the
doesn't even
drone.
make
You're
any sense.
thinking of the game at the at Chuck E. Cheese where you grab the claw thing. It doesn't have a claw.
Drones have claws.
They don't.
Okay, we're gonna follow up on that.
If you have you ever heard of a drone having a claw,
Give us a call at
216.
We're online. Do you guys know about a drone having a claw that drops things off?
Right.
Here's the
It's gotta
thing.
have
The
a
truth of the
claw.
matter is this social media. People are just after this attention. They want to go viral.
You think that's what it is?
Oh, it's always
Yeah,
about
that's
that.
always
These
the
are
thing.
all attention-seeking behaviors.
Yeah.
That's what they are. I mean, we
Yeah.
have to call it what it is. You know,
Yeah.
you're going to get a lot of attention if you do interesting things.
You had to know that
You're
was
gonna go
get
to jail.
You're gonna stay there.
But it's
If
like
you
a
get
kid. It's
longer
like
with
a
drone
kid.
dropping off candies.
Yeah.
But let
I
me
don't think they wanted attention from that.
but let me
They don't,
say
they don't,
this.
some people
They
don't
have
mind
to think.
incarceration. You have to keep that in
Yeah,
mind.
but let me say this. So they dropped the stuff off, and then if they saw, like, usually drones have cameras on them. They
Right.
saw what was going on. They could have easily threw the controller
But
away.
who was flying it though?
That's my thing.
who
That person
Or
was
fly
like,
next door.
fly. They
Or fly away.
right, fly away.
This is so funny.
And then what if they start? Did they shoot at the drone? Did they kill the drone? Like what happened with the drone?
Well, first
They
of all,
track
the
a
drone's
drone.
online.
All of this stuff is
But
traceable.
you can
Yeah.
all of the stuff is
Yeah.
traceable. There is a lot of loopholes though. But this is an unfortunate story of people getting contraband, and it's also, I gotta be. It's
It's
smart.
media. It's attention seeking. Look what they're
Yeah,
getting.
but it's
They're
smart.
getting you guys to talk about it.
Yeah, we're talking
and so,
about it.
Right, and so this is how these things, what they call, go viral. This
It's
is
right.
what they want that
And
attention.
if you were the one that flew that drone to the
Euclid,
Get-
Cuyahoga
give us a
County
call.
Jail, the Euclid facility,
yeah,
please
give us
call
about
us.
216-271-0959. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what you were thinking. Your thought process. Did you want attention, or did you really need to get this person?
She said, "Give us a call."
Give us a call. Give us a call. Follow us on Instagram, WOVU 95.9 FM. Yeah, DM us. We want to hear your story. We do. So we want to see what's going on. Do you have any more drones? So yeah.
All right. Well,
TC's not feeling that.
Give us a call,
Okay.
sir or ma'am.
I've deleted all the comments. So, and lastly, in our OVT hot topics, our national story for the day. Wait for the drama.
Right.
The House of Representatives has launched an inquiry for impeachment against
who?
our president.
Who?
Donald
Oh
Trump.
my God.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I saw. I think I texted you yesterday when I saw
You did.
Pelosi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty. I was
You
just
were
like,
so excited.
I am very. You know what? I'm hesitant
Okay.
because I just want to see it go through.
Yeah.
I want to see it happen. I mean, because you hear
Don't
all
get our
this-
hopes up.
Don't come on, sis. Don't get my hopes up. And when I say sis, I'm talking about Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi, if you're listening, give us a call, 216-271-01. No, don't get my hopes up. I hear that. I like it, and I think it's great. I'm looking forward to definitely following this story
Yeah.
a lot more because we've had our... And I just thought it was interesting on National Voters Registration Day. I think it was a little bit of a treat for the voters registering. If you register to vote, we're going to get Trump impeached.
Right.
No, that's just, I mean, that's not going to happen. But I'm just saying, I just thought it was interesting how it came out.
And, this news coming off of, President Trump spoke at the United Nations yesterday, one of the topics regarding climate change, among others. And then now today, officially, the House Democrats began the inquiry into, now it's just an inquiry, right? So it's not that anything is really happening.
Of course not.
Yet, but they're inquiring.
And speaking of inquiring, I just heard a question in my mind from a listener
Okay.
saying, how does impeachment work?
Sure.
Impeachment in the United States is the process by which the lower house of legislation brings charges against a civil officer of government for crimes alleged to have been committed.
High crimes and misdemeanors, which is
Yes.
quite vague. And Ladosha, you said you were in the law
A little.
a little bit.
Yeah, a little on the side.
Tenchy Winchy.
Uh-huh.
Your thoughts?
Well, to be honest, I don't think that they're really going to impeach him.
I feel the same.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to impeach him just because of the infrastructure of the United States. In the white privilege, he's going to be able to get away with it because he's doing things that all other bad presidents have done in the past, and they get glorified. A la George Washington, a la Thomas Jefferson. These people have Abraham Lincoln. These people have committed all types of atrocities against people, period. And yet, there they are on monuments, and there they are, and there are money, we have their pictures on our monies and so on and so forth. They are considered forefathers. So this is the nation that we live in, where you can do certain things, and people of your kind, because there are people who look like him and don't look like him, that don't agree with him. So we don't want to clump people into these clusters that everybody shares his sentiments. But unfortunately, and maybe fortunately, that is what it is to be an American, is that if you are of a certain persuasion, you don't have to deal with those behaviors. To me are just deplorable. Some of the things that he said. I don't think he should be in anyone's office because he's not practicing responsible leadership. And even though presidency has its level of hoity-toity and, decorum that people...
I don't even want him in my office.
Yeah, people don't like that. I mean, there are a lot. We had a woman in our salon yesterday that wanted to vote for Trump. But we have to respect people's rights because that is what you can do. So of course we surely gave her 1,001 reasons why she should not, and encouraged her to learn about the process.
Well, why was she saying
she liked the fact that he was just rogue. that he did not care what people thought, that he was doing what he wanted to do, and that is how the world should be. That you can just, yeah, she really liked his rogueness, his ability to just step out of that, that prim and proper role of,
So
what
she
it is
sees
to
him
be.
as being real.
Yeah, that he was keeping it that
Yeah.
he was honest, that I don't like black people, even though he wasn't saying that, and that he was promoting racism and throwing up this, I think, some sign that meant KKK. I don't know, because I'm not into the KKK, but this was her belief, and that was how she felt, and we were like, let us help you. So we had to, she didn't understand the whole judicial process. So I plead to all of the politicians, especially if they're trying to use social media like he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
He's using Twitter.
Yeah.
Something is, 20 years ago, when I was an outreach worker and we were in mental health, and you went to a counselor or a therapist, you had to go talk to someone, whatever you want to call us, Can you imagine someone telling you to pick up a device and tap into it and express your feelings? I work for Beachbrook, who is one of the most ethical social service agencies there is. And I'm telling you, you would have not been able to work there because that's very inhumane.
Yeah.
You're going through a device to communicate. So that's telling you how detached he is from a human.
Yeah.
We're talking about just a human. Forget race. This is why we need to get rid of the word race. I'm wishing on this, because it will just get rid of all of this stuff. So here's a person who's doing this. And so when you have people like this young woman who's very wedded to her device, she's very wedded to her device, and she's trusting that's what's coming through this device is real.
Yeah.
And like what you guys are doing is so phenomenal, because you're giving she and I the opportunity to come across as real people in real life. And so politicians need to tap into those people who don't understand the judicial process of how one becomes a president, and that it starts before the voting at that election with your school board member, your council person, your mayor. She didn't know anything about that. All she knew was, well, I like the fact that, he's up there telling the world, flip the bird.
The personality.
And I can grab a vagina and still be like, you can. However, there is a consequence that comes with that, even if you're the president, even if you get away with it.
Absolutely.
So she didn't get that, but she did in the end.
Well,
thank God for hair salons. Let's give it up, right, homegirl?
Right.
My fellow hair. This is what we do in hair salons. We kick the ballistics.
Right.
Right.
Ladosha Wright. Welcome, Ladosha Wright, our third co-host.
Well, we're having fun here in the studio with our OVT Hot Topics. We're going to take this moment to take a quick break. There we go.
Ooh, they're trying to turn up on you.
I know.
Ooh.
So, yes, you're listening to Our Voices today here on WOVU 95.9 FM. In the studio with us today is Ladosha Wright, natural hair care extraordinaire. I'll keep those bars right there. And Rashada Bates, owner of Kids Style Lounge, one of our box spot retailers. Stay tuned. We will begin our discussion into hair and self-esteem and get into the stories of these two ladies when we return. You are listening again to WOVU 95.9 FM. Thank you so much for streaming us live on WOVU.org.
Nice. Oh, that's good. That's some good topics there. She said, what's the phone number? What's the number to call in?
I see it.
What's that number?
216.
Call in to 216-271
0959.
Oh, it's right there in front of me. The request line.
Sunshine Cafe, located at 7201 Kinsman Road, for their support. Hey, let me ask you a question. WOVU plays the best music, right? Yeah. And WOVU
Let me ask you a question.
talk shows and information for the city. Well, now WOVU 95.9
You ladies
FM
are
has
doing
the
great.
best website to match. So right now, go ahead and log on to WOVU.org and see exactly what I'm talking about. I know that's right. You never have to guess what's going on WOVU 95.9. Log on to the homepage and see exactly what's playing right now, every day, 24/7.
See, I was working here. I would just get up and start busting a move.
With the music playing on the
Yeah, with that
phone.
music playing, I would just get up like,
So do me a favor, pull out your smartphone, your laptop, your desktop, your tablet, log on to WOVU.org right now. Can you do that for me? WOVU 95.9 FM, the best radio station now has the best website. WOVU.org.
I cannot do that. I heard when you did it. No.
Oh my God, my husband always trying to do it. It cracks me up. He like, I'm like, I only ask him to do it because it's so funny.
Why not join us on 95.9 FM WOVU on every Wednesday, 11 o'clock a.m., where we deal with the matters of the community, the matters of Cleveland, and the matters of faith. You can join us here for a powerful and impactful discussion that we believe will set the tone for your day.
Hi, I'm Janita Harris, and you're listening to WOVU 95.9 FM, the best radio station in the nation. BBC Community Radio. Hi.
All right, and we are back. Hey, Danita. Hey.
hey,
You're
Danita.
listening to Our Voices Today on WOVU 95.9 FM. Again, streaming live on WOVU.org. I'm your host, TC Lewis, Asia Jones in the building.
I'm right here.
So let's dive deep into our wonderful guest today. Yes, so I'm going to introduce these two ladies, I guess, officially.
Drum roll.
So again, Miss LaDosha Wright, an author, a cosmetologist, a speaker, a certified master colorist, a social worker, just an all-around wonderful person.
World traveler.
Yeah, world traveler. She has a unique approach to cosmetology, and that has undoubtedly enhanced her 14 years of experience as a social worker and her recent works as a self-published author. She aims to provide education and training to those frustrated with textured hair. With a passion for education, LaDosha is highly skilled in trichology. Am I saying that right?
Trichology.
Trichology, not trichology.
Please, please.
Trichology.
She's not a part of the trichology.
Okay.
No tricks.
The study
David
of-
Copperfield has that.
Yes, highly skilled in trichology, the study of scalp and hair properties. Her expertise in hair color application, and I will be making an appointment, was influenced as she worked under the tutelage of the legendary and pioneering hairstylist Miss Olive Benson. Currently, she is a leading from Macy certified master colorist. She is sought after for her meticulous color application, corrective formulas, and intricate foil placement. Just an all-around master with the color. Let's see. She brings her expertise to textured hair individuals all around the world, teaching them what they don't tell you at the hair salon about home care. About home hair care, and that is now the title of her upcoming book, which has been released actually. Yes, and she's holding it in her hand proudly. She's been a regular on local television, newspapers, local theaters, has worked collaboratively with filmmakers, photographers, just everyone.
Yes.
Everyone's just wanting to get at Miss LaDosha Wright. So, but also I do want to
She was recently
definitely mention.
presented.
Actually, I will have you speak about your opportunity on the great in the motherland.
Yes, in the motherland. Yes.
So again, LaDosha Wright, welcome to Our Voices Today.
Once again, thank you
Oh
guys
my
for
gosh,
coming in.
so
I was
happy
waiting for them to
to
come
be
inside
here.
of us and
Yes.
start clapping.
And Rashana Bates is also here with us. You are the owner of the Kids Style Lounge, a children's hair salon or a family hair salon that will be opening up a retail space at our precious and beloved Box Spot marketplace. So we welcome you again to Our Voices today. And the two of you, LaDosha and Rashana, have a connection, although I don't think you've met before today, but Rashana, you
Yes, first of all, our names rhyme, right? LaDosha and Rashana.
Right.
After that.
Bars.
Yes. We got old school, we got new school, right?
Okay,
That's right. That's right.
High five. I'm going to give you physical commentary on the actions of these two. They're high fiving, smiling, and laughing.
go ahead and tell us how the two of you are connected.
Well, actually, she knows my cousin, you know, and then she works in the beauty industry. And so she admires me, I admire her. And so we connect, you know, every now and then we like wink, wink at each other.
Okay,
so she's doing wonderful things. Yes. And so she's doing wonderful things. And, you know, she's, you know, like, oh, I'm inspired by you. And of course, I'm like, oh, I'm inspired by you. So we just have that. It's a vibrant thing between she and I. And I wish I could see her. She's terribly attractive. So she's fine. Dang, she's fine.
One of the things that I need to say here is that people are just like, oh, black women, we love each other.
Yes.
These are two hairstylists getting tips
They want to say
from each other. One is a veteran, one is another type of veteran. I'm in the live. I just got into one of their lives. Like, this is just so, like, my heart is smiling. Like, I can, has your heart ever smiled?
Yes.
Yeah, this is just so beautiful because a lot of people, oh, black women, we can work together and we can build each other up. Is case in point, Miss LaDosha Wright and Miss Rashana Bates. Like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's good. That's good.
Absolutely. So LaDosha Wright, you, amongst all those other parts of your career that I mentioned, you know, from your bio, also you are embarking on an opportunity to teach hair care and cosmetology in one of our beloved African countries.
Yes.
Go ahead and tell us about that. I'm so excited about this. When I read this, I like literally jumped out of my skin.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, boy, it's going
She got
down.
on top of it, and I was like, it's really inappropriate. Can you tell me
I
what's
was
going
smashing
on?
up the equipment.
It got really ridiculous before you ladies got here. So I
Not
had to
smashing the equipment.
Yeah, it got pretty intense. It was jumping. And,
All right.
You know,
All right. Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank you guys so much for the opportunity to, you know, share my spiel. I'm just very, very grateful. But I am going to be traveling to Gambia with about 4 other delegates, and I will be writing the country's first cosmetology curriculum.
Wow.
So this is like, I know, it's deep, isn't it?
Yes.
And so, and this is in partnership with the lovely, the one, the only Mrs. Fatou Sane Gay, and she is the founder of the Gay and Girl Skills Academy. And so she and I came into contact with each other about 11 years ago. I had some issues in the industry, not just myself, but a lot of us cosmetologists in the industry. We had 2 very pertinent issues that we wanted to address with the state and the Ohio State Board of Cosmetology. One was around the braiding, and then 2, it was around the former managing cosmetology license. So the former Senator Shirley Smith encouraged me to galvanize a bunch of us to bring these issues to the, you know, powers that be. And so in that process, we needed to have proof that braiding was not just a pastime hobby of Black people. that though it is, you know, from Africa, right? It is in our culture, but there are people other than Black and brown people from Africa who braid hair, and that they do teach braiding. So I reached out to all of the cosmetology schools in Africa who had an email address, and that was it was about 11 years ago. So a lot, you know, so Fatou was the first person to respond back and said that she would write a letter on behalf that our braiders here should have education because they teach braiding. And so her country, we wrote to her country, they flew her here, and she spoke about how important proper braiding was and how they teach this, and that her school is not the only school in Africa that teaches braiding, because in America, typical of a lot of people who say things that they've never been there to know what's taking place. So and that is one of those beauty of America, that you can do your whole due process. So we did our due process. We actually lived schoolhouse rock. That's what I like to call it. And so she came here and she spoke her piece, and so from there we were able.
Now she came from Gambia to
She
Columbus?
flew in from Gambia, yes, and Mr. Marvin Gentry out of Cincinnati, he had a cosmetology school, and a whole bunch of us, Dr. Spritz, Mr. Abdullah, we had recent Malika Jones, we had Lakeisha Glenn, just everyday cosmetologists who was just in that process of wanting to see a change in the industry, where they wanted those braiders to have a license, not because we felt that braiding we should do it and take it from them, but because we wanted them to be able to compete in the marketplace and get better pricing. And number one. Number two, to bring validity and bring up the braiding, and it should be incorporated in the regular curriculum of cosmetology. We ain't got there yet, y'all, but we're getting there.
But also, doesn't that open up more opportunity for business ownership?
Well, the problem is, according to the Department of Labor, and you do have the social justice people, that this cosmetology field is robbing these people of their natural, because now you're moving into this whole cultural appropriateness language. Like, you people were never teaching hair braiding, and now you want to take it from them. That's one. Two, the cost of the education. And I'm sure you've heard this before too. Like, it costs too much to go to cosmetology school and then to pay it back. So you're taking out loans, you're getting financial aid, or so on and so forth, or just the grants. And some people are not even completing. But you have that in regular universities.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have that. But that's a much bigger issue. We know why that's really taking place. So that's the really big argument.
Why? We come back and talk about it.
Yeah, and so she flew here, and so we were able to, and it wasn't just us. I want to make it clear. It was a combination of cosmetologists across the state of Ohio. We had Sue Moore out of Columbus, Ohio, with the Beauty Schools group. We had so many people from across Ohio. Nuccio Basilisco and his wife, Cheryl Basilisco, may he rest in peace. They put a lot of effort and money into hosting these events to get this to the awareness of the powers that be, and we were able to change both. So now Ohio has a law where you can become educated and become certified as a braider. So to the public, that's a cool thing, because what cosmetology is about, and you can agree, is public safety and sanitation. So we need to stop telling people that they're teaching how to do hair. No, they're guiding you in what you already know how to do. So we have to make that clear. And so when we become licensed, you guys want to make sure that she and I are not sharing combs. But if you're at home doing hair yourself, you don't understand what lies beneath on a comb. But she's licensed and I'm licensed, and we do. So that's what the education is about. It was never about y'all taking stuff from black people. Quit saying that.
Right.
We're protecting the public from communicable diseases. That's the law. Nurses do it. Doctors do it.
Yeah.
Bees do it. No, I'm just
So
kidding.
you are writing the first cosmetology curriculum in Gambia. So it's not that no one in Gambia knows how to do hair.
No.
It's that piece that
it's,
you just
it's the
stated.
science.
Yeah,
They
the
need to
science behind it.
understand. They want their own curriculum of how this should go for our country. And so we know for a fact, and in my research, and I'm African, I don't know if y'all could tell.
Okay. I'm trying to help you.
I'm African too. I'm an African. And so we know that in our culture, now we're not saying all people feel that in the culture of beauty and in the culture of African, that beauty is what? skin deep. It's within. So this culture, this curriculum encompasses a curriculum that has that as the foundation. In America, beauty is what? Selfie.
Yeah.
Beauty is beat face. Beauty is filter. Beauty is Kardashians. In Africa, I don't know who a Kardashian is, but if you don't boo-boo, you're not pretty. If you're not eating whole foods, you're not pretty.
Yes.
If you're not drinking lots of water, because your beauty is a reflection of what? The internal mechanism.
Yeah. And
So
you have to boo-boo.
you have to boo-boo.
Yeah.
If y'all ain't boo-booing, get off my feed. You know?
Right,
Get
come
on the
on.
toilet and get off
Give
this
us a call
feed.
if you haven't
No,
boo-booed.
no.
Yeah. So that's so now we're getting into that the foundation of that curriculum is a holistic one. The second part is history. In cosmetology school, did you get history?
Shauna?
We did, but not really.
They didn't give us any history.
Not really. And I want to say something about what you're talking about. As far as the license goes for the braiding, I really do appreciate them doing that, because I have braiders in my salon that went and got a braiding license.
Wow,
So it
that's
helped
awesome.
for people who were inside their homes doing hair unsanitized and not actually knowing exactly how to do or what to do or how to clean the combs or how to shampoo hair, not wash hair, but they didn't know the basic fundamentals. So when they went and offered that braiding license, it was a good thing for them, because now they also can get an income legitimately from what they know how to do, and everybody is, in a safer environment receiving that service. So I really appreciate
Thank you.
them doing that. Like, I didn't even know that you had a prayer that, but that's an amazing thing in the industry that I really appreciate.
That is
Thank
awesome.
you.
That's
Thank you. I
awesome.
appreciate that. And that is what it's about. She's an entrepreneur and she has her business. We all can help each other.
Yeah.
And that's what Fatu came here and she did that for us. So when she called me to write this curriculum, my initial thought, because this is how we are in America, well, I'm not qualified because I don't have what? The education, the degrees particularly, specifics to that. And so she said, well, I understand, but we're using your book already in our school, number one. So
Yep.
she says we're using,
So you're
What they don't
overqualified.
yes,
tell you as a
yeah,
hair
they're
salon.
using this book in the school to help. And so she's not the first. Canton City School Districts, the cosmetology teacher over there said, this book is actually better than the Milady's book of cosmetology because it's pertinent to today.
Right.
It speaks the
yeah.
language of the people today,
Right now,
the students
yeah.
right now. And so she said, so you have this book, number one, and then number two, you're an African. And I was like, well, I'll be super
Right.
fantastic African magic. And so I said, okay, I'll submit something. And we just went back and forth. And so I'm a lover of African history. So I just began my research from African history, starting with Booker T. Coleman, who's this wonderful educator, historian, everything ever. And he's also a lecturer. So I'm going his route. And then I'm also working with inspiration from my best friend, Kevin Chill Hurd, the Amin Ra Squad. These are some wonderful scholars. Big, super duper shout out to Asar Imhotep and all these wonderful people who influenced how I could write this curriculum. They don't know it. I mean, I'm taking his linguistics course and all this cool stuff. And so that began how I could, submit something to them. And so I made the symbol of the education a pyramid because we know what the pyramid means in Africa, so on and so forth. And so I just built it along those 6 steps of those pyramids, And so at the bottom is holistic wellness. The second tier is history. The third is understanding. The fourth is altering hair, skin, and nails. And at the tier is creation. And so that's how it goes. And the trilogy is retention, retail, and referrals. That's what we want to see happen with those students. And from an educator's perspective, we want them to promote or to teach in the spirit of understand, learn, and create. Because Gambia is a developing country. They're not third world. They up and coming. And so they want to be on the platform of the world of beauty, and they have a right to be there.
Yeah.
And they need our support. So I don't get paid for this. How much money they paying you? Well, she came here to help us hear this young lady say, thank you. Thank you. So they are cleaning, but they need some curriculum, and they don't have money to pay someone to do this. But I didn't pay her to come over here.
Yeah.
I mean, this lady slept. I never met her. I met her through Skype. I could have been any weirdo.
Yeah.
And her family, her husband, they trusted that their wives, their mom, to come to this country that's not always nice to Africans. You got a president on TV saying, send her back.
Yeah.
But she came. And so I'm honored to be able to go over and introduce this, and they have something wonderful for us when we get there.
And she came, after, having used your book, What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon, as part of her teaching practices over in Gambia. Like you said, other entities here in the States also use your book. Tell us, what don't they tell you at the hair salon?
I think the biggest misnomer, and again, you could just help me out, and I need you to chime in and help us out, is that race has something to do with hair. As hairstylists, I know it sounds corny, but I swear for goodness, y'all, we don't see race. We see textures, and we see human anatomy. All, like she said, the hair needs to be cleansed properly, fundamentally, how they're teaching people, cosmetologists, how to even clean textured hair. It has no business even being taught.
Okay.
You talk about lay back in a bowl. Shampoo means massage.
Okay.
It doesn't mean wash. She just said that. She said, you got to wash. You got to get this hair clean. Then you can come back and massage it. So, but when you're putting it to a race, you're talking about a race of people who was forcibly brought into a country without a comb, a brush, their own soap, their own language to communicate to what to do to it. And then now here we are today. If you straighten your hair, you're white. You don't have your history. They've been straightening hair before Jesus was on the planet, people. You don't have your history because you've been robbed. If you lighten your hair, if you wear a wig, you're not black. That is the most un-African statement to say. That's just, it's very mean because Africans don't see ugly. They don't, but you don't know your history. Now, I'm not saying they don't do that today, but historically, they never saw, it's beauty. They established civilization off of what? Nature. They are an agricultural society. They're not a pastoral society. They don't raid and take away things. You know what I'm saying? And so this is where we're at. So in my book, I'm pointing that out. Race is not as black and white as they would like for you to believe it is. Hair is skin. It's an appendage of your skin.
Yes.
And it's coming
Hair,
from
skin,
this
all the same.
orifice.
That's your next book. Hair
Yeah, it's
and
coming
Skin.
from an orifice.
Hair and Skin.
And we have orifices all over our bodies, eyes, mouth, that are what? Self-cleansing. And they need a proper what? Cleansing agent. But you can't say, well, you're black, so black people can't wash their hair like white people. Dude, would you please? But that's cultural.
Yeah.
That's because that comes from slavery. That's not African. Don't confuse the two. But we're getting our history as black people from where? Slavery. Give us our history before slavery. And I guarantee you won't find it if you look on any hieroglyphs. And again, I say this over and over. I'm not saying that hieroglyphs are pictographs. They are more than that. But we know they were trying to depict what? Excellence. You don't see unkempt hair on a hieroglyph. I always say we built pyramids on fleek. Holla. You know?
All right, so, you mentioned Africans have been straightening their hair since the dawn of time.
They have artifacts. If you do anything in archaeology, and just go to any museum, or you don't have to go. Now you can go online and virtually visit. Every museum in the United States practically has some type of a semi-virtual tour. And you will find artifacts of a curling iron. We're talking about during the days of Imhotep, those dynasties, those early periods even before Egypt. We're talking about Cushites and all this stuff. They had this stuff. And so, but we don't have that history. So we're saying very mean, visceral things to each other, like natural hair. We should be wrong for that.
Right. So
we're so wrong for
you
that.
Know, the two of you, Ladosha and Rashana. Now I know Rashana, you have some weave in your hair, right?
I do.
Yeah. And do you, Ladosha?
This all me. Right. Yeah.
I heard been looking like that for
So when we say, there is, I guess a backlash, around, quote unquote fake hair, the natural hair craze is out, people looking down on others based on how they wear their hair.
That's mean.
That's mean.
It's terribly mean, and it's not artistic. No cosmetologist would ever say, if you wear weave, you fake. Yeah. It's art. I want blue hair today. Yeah. Put a weave in it. It's personal expression. Mm-hmm. I mean, could you ever say that honestly?
I think that wearing color or extensions is just accentuating the beauty that you already have. Mm-hmm. I don't think that it takes away from the beauty that you already have. So if you want to be natural, whatever that means.
Thank you.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Because people say, I want to be natural, but then they go and put bleach on their hair. Oh, that's a chemical, so you're not natural. Mm-hmm. Or they say, I want to be natural,
and
but
they
then
twist
they get
their
locks,
hair.
and then they twist it. You're using a product to twist it. So I don't think anybody's really educated on the whole natural thing.
Preach.
So, yeah, that's just my view.
I ditto. She's got it. Mm-hmm. She absolutely has it. It's a personal choice. Even if you don't, there are people who are beautiful. You know what? They don't like their hair. I don't like my toes. I don't like my toes. I don't like my hips. There's a lot of things about me I don't like, so that's okay. You don't have to like your hair just because you put a wig. Well, we're showing little girls that we're ashamed. Well, if you're ashamed, then that's a whole nother conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, that's from the end.
It's a whole nother, that's where we're talking about self-esteem. That's two different conversations if you're ashamed or if you just like wigs.
Right. So
My
are
aunt loves wigs.
You saying that we define what natural is regarding our hair?
It is, of course. I mean, if it grows from your scalp, it's natural, number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, for all the documentaries, all the movies that I've watched about this whole natural hair, and they want to fight the man who's done horribly mean things, and they have. They're still mimicking the man by what? Segregating. Mm-hmm. Because when they promote natural hair, who do they promote who has it? Black people. Exactly. As if Asians don't have natural hair, as if whites don't have natural hair, Puerto Ricans, blind people don't have natural hair, people in wheelchair don't have natural hair, men don't have natural hair. This list goes on and on and on.
I will tell you, that is something that until you said it, I never thought about it.
Holla.
So the toupees, do you consider?
They're still copying their oppressor. If you truly want to be an African and you want to, not be an African, but you want to live in the spirit of what you feel in your heart as an African, you know what you would do? You would believe in the potential for greatness. And I'm quoting Booker T. Coleman. That is what he says. Africans believe in the potential for greatness. You don't believe me? Everybody's got a story about that ugly baby that the daddy just... We believe what we've been taught.
Yeah.
And we have, as a culture of people, we have been taught good hair, bad hair, black hair, white hair, biracial hair.
We have been hair. There's no such thing. It's just hair.
It's just hair. It's like your nose.
Yeah.
It's an anatomy. And this is, I like that she has a children's, a salon for a family with emphasis around children.
Absolutely. Tell us, Rashana, first of all, you are the owner of the Kids Style Lounge again, one of the retailers at our box spot. But tell us, when we're talking about good hair versus bad hair and the community's mentality around that, you deal with children a lot and families. Is there anything, little girls or even little boys come and say to you, I don't like my hair, or I want my hair to look like this because this is better or this is good. You know, how do you
All the
talk?
time.
How do you
combat
talk to
that?
them? Yeah.
Well, that's the whole reason why I decided to open up the Kids Style Lounge, because first of all, you have to train up a child the way they should go. So if you don't know the proper way to train hair, groom hair, trim ends, condition, then they just really don't know what to do with their hair. So there's no such thing as good hair or bad hair. Your texture is just different from hers or his.
I agree.
But the important thing is you want to keep your hair healthy, maintained, and then that way it can grow properly, it can be conditioned, and that's all a part of your hygiene, your scalp. So those are the reasons why I wanted to do that, because a lot of adults, they don't know what to do or they don't know how to do. So if you bring them to the Kids Style Lounge when they are young, we can help them and we can help you help them.
And can I say this? I wanted to piggyback on you saying hair is a part of hygiene. I find that to be so real, and also unfortunate that wasn't taught in health class. They never taught us about hair. I mean, of course, we didn't. You know, I had a white health teacher. I had health when I was in school. They never told us that hair was a part of hygiene.
Yes.
You get deodorant, pads,
Clean your ears.
contraceptives, wash yourself. They never talk to you about even like hair, other parts of your body. And for you to say that and teach the children that is huge.
Yes.
That is a huge, because a lot of adults don't even know that. I mean, I've known it because in my household, but it's just like, for those who didn't have those type of parents that want to know everything and want to teach you everything that they won't tell us, for you to teach it, that's huge.
Do you
because
think a lot of
understand
people
that.
see hair as something outside of themselves and not really a part of their body?
Yes.
Yes, they do. Yeah,
Boys
they.
mainly. So yesterday I went and we did free haircuts at Yen Academy for the boys, and another part of that is me giving them toiletry products, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, things like that to help them, because now they have this whole nappy look going on and these dreads, and that's the thing. They don't even know what the dreads mean, but they have this whole look and this whole thing, but they don't clean their hair. They're not shampooing it. They're not taking care of it, not knowing that it'll give you diseases and make you have infections in your hair. So they're not educated. So somebody has to be able to tell them to educate them so they can do better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love you
And that's
for
something
that.
that you provide. And
Yeah.
I know you have this style lounge, but you also go to different areas and teach and not like a teacher, but like instruct.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
provide,
I've spoken in
teach.
different schools before in regards to healthcare and hygiene and things like that.
Yeah, and that's key. I mean, I agree with her wholeheartedly,
Yeah.
and this is why our emphasis at our salon is trichology, that we want people to understand exactly what she's saying, because we have their parents.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to support her, in working with the parents of those children, and they'll say, you know what? There's a young lady who has a salon for kids that's doing the exact same thing. So this is how we get to change the industry.
That's the connection.
That's the connect, because they want to go to an environment that's specifically for their children. A hair salon is not always a place for children.
Exactly.
So now you have a place that's user friendly. She's got the kiddie language, all this cool stuff. She's complementing this with community outreach, so that they can invite her to come to their church and do more. And I always say I'm not alone in my venture, in my quest of what I'm doing. I know there are other cosmetologists who know this, but I'll be the voice, because this is a very bold statement to say that hair is not as black and white as they would like for you to believe, because we are taught what black hair. Milady's Cosmetology has a book called Ethnic Hair. Like, what are you people serious?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with y'all?
That's so crazy.
Say
But
it again.
it is crazy because it's what we were taught.
Right.
It's what was fed to us and what we felt like we had to eat and we had to believe.
And we're not denying that there is something unique about people from a certain location who has certain similar features. They're called phenotypes. So we do get that. But you can't just say that Afro hair is only on black and brown people. There are Latinos who have it. There are Asians who have it. There are white people who have it. There are Puerto Ricans who have it. Brazilians who have it. I mean, this list goes on and on and on of people who have this Afro hair that has more something to do with where they live, their genetics, their environment, than just the color. So the color may contribute, but I would not say as a determinative, if you are brown, you're going to have Afro hair.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap up, I just want to thank you ladies. Talking about black, we definitely need a part 2 of this. And I just really, and I learned a lot.
Come back next week?
No, for real. Well, you're gonna be out of the country.
I'll be out of the country
And
October the
get to tell
25th. So we can come back.
Oh,
we can come
please,
back.
this is really
Yeah,
really
I want
good
to come back
dialogue.
because I want to talk about the box spot.
Yeah, you have to.
So,
you have to talk
yeah,
about
I'll
that.
come
Yeah,
back.
absolutely.
Yes.
So, I want to thank you ladies again,
Thank you.
Miss LaDosha Wright and Miss
Roshana
Roshana
Bates.
Bates. Thank you so much for your time, your knowledge that you fed into us, and continued peace and blessings to you all. Peace and
Thank you.
blessings to
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
This is really eye and hair opening.
Yeah.
I have locks, but I got them braided.
Okay.
And you gotta be natural. And I'm like, I'm still natural. I don't got to perm or nothing. But you gotta let your hair out. And I'm like, sorry, I gotta continue.